Welcome to Interviews with Indie Authors. I'm your host, Winona Vale. It's my goal to connect readers to up-and-coming indie writers and uplift marginalized voices, one story at a time. Today is our first book club meeting, and we're joined by our wonderful community of readers and indie writers. So we're going to start with some introductions. My name is Winona Vale. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm currently working on a poetry book called Lost in the Desert. So, Maria, you can go first.
Hi, I'm Maria J. Hart. I am an indie author in Pennsylvania. My pronouns are she, her. The last book that I published was actually the companion novel to my first book. This is from the Werewolf FMC's point of view, and this is the Vampire MC's point of view. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay, we'll talk more about that in a minute. I'm excited to hear about it.
Hi, my name is Victoria Douglas, but I usually go by T Shadow or Tori. I'm not published yet, but I hope to be published in October with my first debut graphic novel called Wolf Nation. Essentially, it's just about werewolves surviving in the zombie apocalypse and trying to rebuild their pack. I go by she, her pronouns, and I am 25 years old. My birthday was in March.
Nice. I am 25 for today, and then I turn 26 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So super close. Okay. What else?
Hi, my name is Dirk Biesinger. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I have republished my debut novel couple of months ago, and I have a prequel coming out on the 12th. And I'm working on the second book right now of the series. Other than that, it's in fantasy, sci-fi, and utopia, not all the dystopia, what is plenty covered. So I'm looking at how actually can it be done in a more positive way. What is the potential that could be there instead of trying to battle everything and destroy everything.
I love that. That's a great take. It's been a while. I don't know if ever since I've read a utopia book, so I look forward to that.
I'm Stuart Schuder. My pronouns are he, him. I'm an indie writer. I'm currently working through a series of novella and short stories in a collection called Eight Nightmares, which basically deals with a number of horror related ideas. My last one was the fourth, which is the fourth. Our Broken World, a dark fantasy apocalypse, a novella set in a dying world, accosted by strange, surreal, apocalyptic happenings, as two friends try to survive it. And my last indie read was by A.C. Cross, a called October Music, which is like a collection of horror flash fiction.
Oh, okay. I'm just getting into horror. It's been a while since I've read it as well, and I also look forward to reading your book.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. All right, who goes next? Who goes there?
Hi, my name is Hunter Arsheld-Cupid.
Hello.
My pronouns are he, him. And I'm currently working on my debut novel, Fabled Tower, which is a fantasy novel about a 20-something-year-old trying to figure out where they want to be versus what their family expectations are.
I can relate to that heavily. I look forward to reading that. That's so exciting. I think that's a very important topic that, although the character takes place in their 20s, I think it's a very universal topic where we're all just sort of trying to find our place.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for being here.
I'm Sasha. I use any pronouns, and I'm half the team behind Soulbound, which is a fantasy horror young adult novel series following our young protagonist, Jaylyn, as she's learning about the power within her soul while also trying to reunite with her siblings.
That sounds exciting. I'm really interested to hear how you delve into horror while also being in the young adult genre and how you balance the two. I'm excited to read it. All right. And then for our last person.
I mostly just jumped in to listen to everybody else because I'm cooking breakfast for my kids. But,
oh, that's totally fine. Keep cooking.
No, I'm T.W. Clausen, Tyler Clausen. I am writing a fantasy sitcom that's going to come out later this year, and hopefully I'll be able to do a video series of table reads so that people can listen to it, and I can get some attention on it, and it feels more like watching a show than listening to an audiobook.
Yeah, whoa, that's super interesting. I can't wait to hear more about that. And again, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, I just wanted to hang out and meet everybody because I'm not always the best when it comes to hanging out on the server. So.
Yeah, same, even though it's my server. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you again to everyone who took the time to be here. It's truly a dream come true. I have been planning this for months, basically a whole school year, because when I originally tried to do this, life kind of kicked me in the butt and it said, you're not ready. And I really had to dive into the culture of the book community, and really dive into knowing like what community truly means. And I really feel like you guys helped me learn that. So it's just, I'm so appreciative of all of you. This is why I sort of wanted to do this episode where it's meeting our Discord server, because this wouldn't be happening without you guys, because all of you really showed me what showing up means, like what showing up for people means, because I have a hard enough time showing up for myself. And so showing up for other people, despite everything that's going on in the world, in our personal lives, like all of you show up in the server, whether it's once in a blue moon or every day or once a week, you guys all show up, and it just truly means the world to me. So thank you. Those so cute, the little heart hands. Okay, so let's see. For our first, I guess I'll call it like a segment. I wanted to do some just sort of plugging of the books, if you will. So Maria, if you don't mind starting us off, we'll just sort of go in the same line. And I just want to hear about all of your books and give you the floor.
Thank you. Well, my books are paranormal romance. It is a duology and a companion novel. It is about an angry eldest daughter. She has been alone for a lot of her adult life, but she agrees to go on a date and ends up being sacrificed to a werewolf, essentially. And she ends up in a magical alternate dimension, and it's a lot of found family. It's love triangle to polyamory. There is a lot of mental health rep, and it's a journey. There's a lot of development and delving into the past and trauma and stuff like that. And it is Mental Health Awareness Month, which I think is pretty fitting. But all of my books are available on KU. They are also, you can get paperbacks through like Barnes and Noble or local libraries. I requested it through mine and they approved it. So anywhere like that, I am all for getting off and away from Amazon. So anything like that.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your books. So, do you mind telling us your social media? I don't know if you said that.
Oh, no, I do not. My handle most places is just Maria J. Hart. Blue Sky, TikTok are my main ones. Instagram is Maria J. Hart Books. And I am on YouTube, but I mostly just re-upload my TikToks there. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. So as far as, like you said, it's mental health awareness. And as we talk about plenty in the Discord server, are spoons and spells. So I want to know, how do you take care of your mental health and juggle writing, personal life, work life, and all of that?
It's hard.
Yes.
But honestly, writing is my outlet. It is the way that I process things and the way that I kind of am able to unplug in a way from the world and just kind of write the kind of world that I would like to see and the kind of justice that I would like to see happen in the real world. So really writing is the way that I gain my spoons.
Wow, I love that. I think there's a lot of merit that comes to finding your inner peace and creativity, because it's something that takes spoons but also gives. So it's finding that balance of being able to contribute to your creativity while also sort of balancing it all. So I applaud you for that. What were some of the mental health aspects that you're most proud of, like representation wise, in your book?
So I wrote this book and a lot of this one too while I was figuring out that I'm autistic. I've known for several years that I have ADHD, but it was kind of processing, the world around me and also looking into characters. And also I have kids, so seeing my kids, their behaviors and their diagnoses, and a lot of it started clicking and making sense. And so it was fun to, I don't know if fun is the right word. It was good to process my own experiences through my FMC. She's got PTSD like I do and anxiety, so getting her to put on the page her feelings and the other characters that validate, and also the ways that the other characters help her cope when she's not very good at coping, was very helpful to be able to process all of that.
Yeah, I think that it's a pretty life-changing event when you start to figure all of that out. I came to terms with that when I was, I was 22 years old. I'm 26 now, 25 for one more day. But at the time, I had just started working in speech-language pathology. So I was working with a lot of students with autism, and part of my job was giving assessments, and I was giving these kids assessments to find them eligible for IEPs, and I was giving them these questions. I'm like, dang, this is hard. Why is this so hard? And I'm like, I wonder why.
And I haven't mentioned, I'm 32, so it's never too late. I was 31 when I was writing the first book, so it's a journey.
Yeah, I think a lot of us who are neurodivergent find a lot of solace in the indie writer community.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a whole bunch of us just here.
Yep.
Still technically undiagnosed.
Yes, well, same, but we know we got it. it's, there's only so many ways you could say, well, I have sensory issues and I have trouble eating and I have this and that. It's like, come on now. But,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? So do you have like a favorite moment in your book or line that you can share with us?
There is a chapter in my first book where the FMC starts to have a panic attack. She's got PTSD from, content warning, she was in a motor vehicle accident as a kid, so she can't get in a car without freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, it's a modern magical alternate dimension, I should mention, but they're going to get into a car, and she starts breaking down. And the vampire MNC, who has been a jerk to her the entire time, doesn't think she's good enough, who, unbeknownst to her, also has PTSD, puts his hand on her shoulder and is like, what is your coping mechanism? Like, what grounds you? She's like, how do you know what grounding is? He's like, what grounds you? So she says that she looks for colors, and when she really needs to focus, she does it in reverse. So he goes, okay, what's violet? And she points out the flowers, and so they go through the rainbow together. And at the end, they're finally at the car, they're ready to get in, and he says, what's red? And the only thing red around is his eyes.
Oh.
So, really like that part.
I like that. That just gave me chills. Oh, that's so good.
I had a lot of fun writing that. And that part in particular, I've had people like, I've never thought about going in reverse because, like, I know when I first started with grounding techniques, and it's easy to kind of get into a rut and dissociate when you're doing that. Even you're like, all right, well, red, orange, yellow, blue, like, green, blue. And so I kind of have to trick yourself, or at least I do, to really focus. So that's the coping mechanism that I really like to do. And that I've had readers be like, wow, that actually helped. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It is super easy to just sort of feel like you're going through the motions when you're doing it. So I'm definitely going to use that tactic because you gotta switch it up. You gotta have fun with it.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. So can you share a little bit about your writing process and if they were different between the two books?
For the first, well, actually, it was kind of all, it happened in a frenzy. I wrote a duology over a summer, and I wasn't sure at first if I wanted it to be a trilogy. It still could have been a trilogy, but because of events that happened in the book that are maybe a little bit too close to the real world in some ways, I was like, I can't leave it ending like that, so it's a duology, and it is what it is. But the editing process, definitely for the second one, was more involved because I was condensing more things. But, I mean, as someone with ADHD, I kind of just write all over the place.
Yeah.
And I know the overarching theme, the goal. I know the beginning and where I'm getting. I don't always know the middle, except for maybe a few major beats.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's like a scene at the end of the book that I really want to write, I write that. And I know some people are like, I cannot write out of order. And personally, I can't write in order. So in that way too, it helps me go back and, this thing that happens at the end, I'm like, oh, well, it needs a hint here.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to go in and put those foreshadowing moments. It's a lot of chaos, essentially, but it worked out.
I think I need to try some more chaos writing because I think I was a little bit too structured when I was trying to write my fantasy book. It was like a year and a half ago, and I ended up just stopped writing it because I was just like so involved in like the timeline of it all that I couldn't continue, but I did need the break, so I'm glad I took the break. But before we move on to our next person, I wanted to ask you about, did you say magical dimension? What was that about?
Yeah, so there is magical creatures, the vampires, the werewolves, but it's all in a magical dimension. And so to get there, the person who created the dimension, which is not revealed until the second book, but they created it as a means of escape. And they set it up so that the way to get there is through portal trees. So they have to put their hands on the tree, a word, or a word invoking to travel. So that's how Earth is connected to. It's called to Nazareth, the dimension that they're in.
Well, I really love your magic system. Yeah, that sounds so interesting. Okay, and one more time, can you tell us your name and your books?
I'm Maria J. Hart. My first book is Born Anew in Blood. The full duology is called The Blood of Nazareth, and it's available wherever you want to get it.
Yay! Thank you so much. That was so lovely. And then I'm sure I will have a million more questions for you once I read it. So we'll definitely continue our interviewing once I continue. We'll actually read it.
I'm always happy to yap about it. So.
Yes, we're a bunch of yappers, I can tell. Okay, and then for our next person, can you introduce again your name and your books and where to find you on social media?
Cool. So T Shadow is what I usually go by, but you can call me Tori or just T, whatever. I am mainly on my TikTok, so that's T Shadow Author. I have an Instagram where I post more regularly than other places. I also have Facebook. I'm generally everywhere, but I'm mostly TikTok. The graphic novel that I'm making for hopefully to debut in October is called Wolf Nation. It centers around the main character. I don't have my book, of course, but I have stickers because I was
I love that.
making little merch. So main character here is Zora. She's 20 years old when the story starts, and she is the last born American werewolf. Before the CEC apocalypse, which is the chemically enhanced creature apocalypse, takes over the entire world and destroys basically her entire pack, so her whole family. And the story, issue 1, picks up with Zora, again, 20 years old, and she's trying to rebuild her pack with her two friends, there we go, Sandra and then Oscar down here.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's, I guess if we're talking tropes, it's more found family. It's, and then the overall theme, I would say, is tradition versus tradition versus survival. So there are a lot of rules that Zora was instilled in her since she was born that she wants to continue without her family in this new pack that she's creating, but survival in essentially the zombie apocalypse is taking precedent a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think survival would take the precedent in the zombie apocalypse the majority of the time.
Majority of the time.
Yeah, while you were talking before you said the tropes, I was like, this sounds like found family. And then you said it.
Yeah, that's the main, I have other series that I write too, but they're not coming out until way after October. But most of my books will have some element of found family, just because I like that trope. I like people being able to come together and make a community and make something for themselves. Just survival, but also just, it's nice.
Yeah, because I think some of the themes that I'm sure that you handle in the book are sort of like, how do we survive while also not just surviving, but like living in like harsh conditions like that.
Yeah, totally. And what was I gonna say? There's a lot of, my favorite thing about Zora is that she knows the concept of mercy, but does not necessarily employ that, even though she's our lovely main character. So that's another thing she kind of has to learn in terms of being merciful to other humans rather than people that are just within her pack. Yes, sorry.
It's okay. That makes sense. Do you have a specific like moment in the book or line that you're super proud of that you'd like to share?
So my favorite is not in issue 1. I think it's an issue, because I have all the scripts written out. So I have issue, I think it's issue 8 or issue 9. Gets a little blurry. But specifically, I have this concept of what's called bonded. So it's basically a soulmate, but not really. In the universe, a werewolf can have multiple different bondeds, and it's different levels of feelings attached to each one. But the main thing is, like, I want you to be a part of the pack. I want you to be safe. That's, like, where that comes from. And Sandra finds her bonded in a character named Valerie, and a human, another teenage boy just, like, threatens Valerie's life. And in the split second that he's saying she's dead, Sandra has him in a chokehold, and Zora's just sitting there like a mob boss, just, like, letting it happen for, like, a few seconds until she, like, basically, I don't want to say controls, but basically is getting Sandra with her very heightened emotions to calm down and be like, we don't appreciate you saying she's dead. She's just resting. Because Valerie's in that point, in the process of turning into a werewolf. So, but the human doesn't know that, but it's just that dichotomy of Sandra being the enforcer, and then also being just very protective, and Zora just being the chill mob boss.
I love the chill mob boss vibes. I fear that has me in a chokehold. That was so good. Can you explain to me, like, your writing process? I'm curious.
So, how do I explain? So, there's one thing with at least Wolf Nation is do I have my note cards with me? I do. So, I don't know if you know the book Save the Cat, or if anyone's read that book before.
Love Save the Cat.
So that's how I wrote the issue. So this is like chapter 8, issue 8, specifically. So the original draft was written with these note cards. So it's like time and place, what's happening, all that stuff. So it's outlined. And then after that, I just let everything go wild. So there is a basic outline, but there's so much stuff that has been added over the years. Like, I think, do I have the other one? Well, it is. So I have this notebook. This one has all the original information of Wolf Nation. And then I went back to read it the other day, and there's so many changes I've made in between that starting point and where Wolf Nation is now. The witches have so much more control over the story and a presence in the story. That just to have Zora's family background change so much in between there. So it's like organized chaos because I have the outline, but everything in between kind of just happens. And I have control, but not that much.
Yeah, writing is a fine balance between giving up control and being in control of the world you're creating, but also, like, letting the characters sort of guide you.
Yeah.
So you said it was a graphic novel, correct?
Yes. So, I've mentioned it already, but I have, like, other projects that I work on, and they're all like novels, like regular novels. But I kind of got like you when you said you got like knocked down, bogged down by, like, the timelines and all this stuff. Essentially, I never really finished those series. They're still works in progress. I do plan on finishing them, but I was like, I need a big project to almost be like put up or shut up. Like, either do something with your writing or stop talking about it and do it in the dark or something. So I made the decision to do a graphic novel because, one, I can see visually I can see what's happening, and I have, like, actual physical, not physical, but, like, I can show someone who's like, oh, look what's going on, instead of them seeing words on the page, they see pictures. I did not know how expensive it was going to be. I knew it was going to be expensive, but I did not know how expensive it was going to be. So this is very much a put up or shut up kind of situation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so, that's why I chose graphic novel. I mean, graphic novel specifically because, definition-wise, a comic book is only, like, 100 pages, maybe, and 100 pages or less. So, graphic novel is the way I went.
So did you do all of the illustrations?
Oh, no. I cannot draw to save my life.
Okay.
This I found him through Facebook. So Abril, I go through a company called Codex Media. They're based in India. I kind of just talked to Abril from what is it, on Facebook. We started talking. He showed me some of his artists that he works for and manages. So we work. I work through them. So they've done all the art for Wolf Nation. So like even these stickers, like I had him do these. He's done the cover all up to what page batch are we on? We're on the 70s, so we're getting closer to the end. So the whole comic graphic novel is 119 pages total. It was 129. I had to cut 10 pages so I can afford to make the graphic novel.
Makes sense.
And
every page counts.
Yeah, every page counts. I found him. He is so cheap compared to everyone else. He only makes me pay $60 per page, and I can have as many panels I want on a page, which is a steal compared to other places. And I meant to mention, I do have a Kickstarter for my graphic novel. It's for the last 39 pages. Whether or not the Kickstarter succeeds, I will be publishing in October. That's the timeline we set. People just don't get the extra bonus stuff, like the stickers or bookmarks.
Okay, well, I always love a good sticker and bookmark.
I know. But yeah, so I forgot what the question was. I apologize.
No, that's okay. You answered it. I was mainly just asking if you were the one who illustrated it. But something you said reminded me, sort of our Creative Connections channel in the Discord. Sorry, things keep like falling around me and I'm trying to figure out what it is. So it's distracting me. Oh, it's the candle wax. Yikes. It's fine though. We're fine. No fires yet. But it made me think about the Creative Connections channel and how eventually, once our server gets bigger and grows, how cool it would be. So like if someone wants to make a graphic novel and doesn't know how to illustrate, aka my poetry book, I want to have some like little illustrations at the bottom of each page, but like I can't draw to save my life. So I think it would be so special to not only like be able to use the server, but like be able to find someone that like and trust, because I know oh gosh, who was it Slim Rights? Who was the person on TikTok who just said, it was someone in Michael Bourne's group, Left Unread. Basically, they had an issue where they had been like scammed by an AI artist.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that too.
Yeah, so it's just, you got to be careful out there. It's so scary. So that's just what you had said reminded me of it, because you got to find someone, like you have this vision, and it's just like it's scary, like putting your work on the line.
Yeah, actually, so the artist that I currently have is actually the third artist I've been through.
Wow.
So I had two others before. One, I wouldn't call a scam. I just didn't like the end work. Essentially, towards the end, like it was good when I had the test pages, because I had them do test pages. I was like, oh, these are great. I like this style. I can deal with it for the price and all that stuff. Then we started working on more pages, and they weren't turning out how I like, so I had to end that business relationship. And then another, definitely more scam-like than the others. But yeah, so he's the third artist that I'm working with, so I'm not even counting those expenses. So that's just the trial and error of the internet way.
Yeah, it really is trial and error, especially like when it comes to art or just like even editing services. I know like more than one person I've seen online have like their manuscripts get fed through like AI, and then like to give them back feedback, and then that's not what they asked for, and it's just such a mess. But that's why I'm hoping that as our community grows, we can utilize the creative connections, because we need people we can trust. And I feel like when it comes to like services like that, in the creative connections, there's trade services. So if you can't afford it, you can always trade services. That's always an option there. Just plugging that. But real fast, can you tell us one more time your name, your books, and where to find them?
So I am T Shadow or Tori or T. You can find me mostly on TikTok and Instagram at T Shadow Author. And my book is Wolf Nation Issue 1, hopefully debuting in October.
Awesome. Thank you so much for telling us about it.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, who's next?